All right. So, pricing questions are not very frequently asked, first of all. And second is, these are mostly in the form of product strategy questions. For example, how would you price Amazon Echo? Now, this depends on, you know, what strategy you use to price it and what are the main goals for pricing this. It is possible that you initially want to sell a lot of items and you want to, increase the awareness. And on the other hand, it is possible you simply want to increase revenue. Right? So totally depends on your end goal. And that is why, of course, first we, of course, ask the clarifying questions, then we ask the goals. What is the goal for pricing this? Right? So this is very similar to strategy questions. When we look at users, who are the users for which we want to price this product? And finally, we look at the solution. Now, for example, I want to price Google's new OTT platform. So this is a repeated example. I've discussed this throughout the course. Let's say Google wants to launch a new OTT platform. Of course, we are launching this. We've already discussed the market launch strategy in the product pricing questions. Now we want to price this. So when we talk about pricing, there are various types of pricing strategies. For example, the cost plus pricing strategy. The first one, right? We simply calculate our costs and add a markup. This is a very simple, basic cost plus pricing strategy. Then we have competitive pricing. Basis, let's say Pepsi had already launched. Earlier, I think Coca-Cola was there. So Coca-Cola had launched and Pepsi wants to launch a similar product. They'll, of course, use competitive pricing, right? They have an idea of the fact that, okay, Coca-Cola is being sold at 20 rupees per bottle. And then, it would not make sense for them to price it at 25 because then why would people buy it? So that is competitive pricing. Then we have value-based pricing. What is the value, inherent value, right? So setting a price based on how much the customer believes what you're selling is worth. For example, the art pieces, right? Paintings, NFTs, all of that. Then, so that is based on the value of that thing. How much is it worth? And then we have price skimming, setting a high price and lowering it as the market evolves. iPhone, of course, everyone knows this. So first they set a high price, and as the market evolves, as more new products are launched, it decreases the price. So we call it price skimming. Penetration pricing, best example, Jio, setting a low price to enter a competitive market. Now when Jio launched, what all players were there in the market? Airtel was there, Idea was there, Vodafone was there separately. Then we of course had many other players also. So it was already a very competitive market and densely penetrated. I would say. I mean, of course, internet penetration was low, but every person knew about the major brands that are there: Airtel, Idea, Vodafone. How would a third party starting from scratch, a third company starting from scratch, suddenly make it to the top? So there has to be some kind of element of delight that is involved, or some very exceptional element. That was through the pricing strategy of Jio. And of course, this can be another case for another session. That is, so the pricing strategy of Jio is very interesting. Lots of case studies you will find on the internet also, I think. So that is penetration pricing, setting a low price to enter a competitive market and raising it later. But at this point, I think Jio and Airtel prices are similar, or Vodafone Idea. So in fact, Jio might be more expensive also. So that is there. Right? These are all interesting types of pricing strategies. Then there are other types. Freemium model. Has anyone heard of this? Sony Live is an example. So they, yes.
YouTube Premium can be an example. YouTube and YouTube Premium.
Correct. So YouTube is free, but the subscription version of YouTube is paid. That is freemium. Then we have other types of strategies: razor blade, tiered, subscription. So Netflix doesn't work without a subscription. So that is subscription pricing. Similarly, you cannot watch one movie on Prime Video without paying for the Prime subscription. Then we have ad-based free. YouTube again, right? YouTube is ad-based, but it is free. Yeah, and sorry, any other example?
MX Player.
Okay, I've not used MX Player. Possibly.
Like MX Player just has ads in it. I don't
Okay.
think they have.
So all the content is free otherwise.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that is ad-based. Perfect. Razor blade. So this razor blade pricing got its name from the razor that we have, right? Gillette razor, those razors that are there. So they were initially priced in a particular way, and then people named it razor blade pricing. Right. Then we have tiers. Mobile, Netflix Premium, Netflix Family, whatever there is. So there's a there's a 650 version, then there's a 500 version, then there's a 200 plan. So these are tiered subscription plans. All right. So that is product pricing. I'm sure you must have found it interesting. We'll move to behavioral questions in the next session. We have all these types of questions that we'll be answering. So we can probably take this up in the next session. I'll quickly cover what is the STAR approach, right? So when we solve behavioral questions or HR questions, you'll get at least 3 of them in 10. So 3 on 10 cases you'll get these questions. Let's say in every product management interview hiring process, you'll get at least 2 or 3 HR questions. Even in technical Google interview rounds, you will get this question. You will get at least 1 or 2 HR questions. So you'll find this in every interview, right? In almost every round. So this makes it probably the most important thing. And it is also easy. If you have not prepared, it becomes very difficult. But if you have prepared it, it is very easy. So you can use the STAR approach here to solve these questions. So STAR stands for situation. Let's say the question is, tell me about a difficult time that you faced in the last 3 or 4 years. So first you tell about the situation. What was the difficult time? What was the situation I was put in? What was the task at hand? For example, the difficult situation, let's say we can assume, was that I wasn't able to finish an assignment and I had only 1 hour left. Typical engineering graduates, right? Only 1 hour left. I'm not able to finish my assignment. That is the situation. What is the task at hand? I want to finish my assignment. What is the action that I did? I immediately switched off my mobile phone and started, put my 100% effort there and spent the next 1 hour completely focused on the assignment. That was the action that I did. Result, assignment done. And next day I saw the marks, whatever. So A grade. So that is an example of a STAR approach. Or you can use this approach in almost every HR question. For example, you can, whenever you're asked situation-based questions or tell me about this time, tell me about that time, those can be the cases where you can use the STAR approach. Then we have other questions. Most important, tell me about yourself. First question that you are usually asked. You should have a pitch ready for this, 2 minutes pitch ready. And that should incline with why you are interviewing for the role, right? Incline with the role. Then strengths, weaknesses. Again, when you're talking about strengths, you can use the STAR approach. You will demonstrate why is something your strength. So you can talk about a situation at that time, right? And the action will tell them that this is this person's strength. So you can look at that, look at it that way. Then your failures, of course, the STAR approach will help here. Leadership experience. Again, STAR approach will help. You might have led a club or might have been the convener for a fest. All that can come under leadership experience. Then why PM? Again, prepare the answer for this question. what is your understanding of a PM role, and then these are role specific questions. Then these are company specific questions. Why this company, or even the questions for the interviewer at the end, right? You need to prepare some questions beforehand for the interviewer. Make sure that you have at least one or two questions to ask the interviewer, because that leaves a very good impression. And that, you know, the ball goes in their court at that time. They become answerable to whatever they, whatever they say, right or wrong. They become answerable to you, and that is where, the entire game changes, and that empathy element also comes into picture. A lot of things come into picture. So it is very important for you to prepare questions for the interviewer. At least two questions in every interview. All right. So these are HR questions that I wanted to cover. There are some questions specific to product management. For example, these questions, PM 101 questions. So we'll discuss them next time. Tomorrow we'll have the tech for PM session. Any questions till this point?
Sir, the questions that we are going to ask to an interviewer, they depend on the JD that provided.
Yes, can be general questions also related to the company or related to that person or related to that role, but can be specific questions also related to the JD, whatever work whatever work that is written in the job description. So that is what both of them are possible.